Our viewers, my name is Lucien Jeffrey. Welcome again to the Entrepreneur TV show. We are delighted to have you. We always are happy to bring you professionals so you can learn from them and to know who you need to go to if you need services. These are trusted professionals that are verified by the Entrepreneur Nation. And I mentioned to you last time, our viewers, that this show is sponsored by the Entrepreneur Nation. The Entrepreneur Nation is a business development group that brings together professionals and business owners to work together so they can refer clients to each other. We've been doing this for the last 4 years, and the Entrepreneur Nation sponsors the network and this show so we can bring you those professionals. Today, I have a great guest, and our guest is someone you really want to know in London. Her name is Dania Parker-Smith. She is a realtor here in London, Ontario. And when I bring her forward, you're going to learn a lot about her, how she does her business in a very different way. Welcome, Dania, to our show.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you so much for your time. So our viewers will be happy to get to know you, but what we do, Dania, as you know, people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
So we like starting from the very beginning before we come to what you're currently doing. Would you like to let our viewers know about you, where you grew up, and what you did before you became a realtor? Take some time to tell us about that.
Sure. So I was born and raised in British Columbia in an area called the Kootenays, and it's a very small community of about 18,000 people right in the Rocky Mountains. So I literally looked at mountains like this every single day. And I grew up with two brothers and a sister, and my parents lived a very different life. My father was a mountain man, and at the age of 12, I literally moved off grid to a home that we were self-sufficient with our own electricity and water supplies and everything else. Lived a very different life, which was challenging because we did not have a phone, and cell phones didn't exist back in the early 1980s. So that wasn't something that was in our world. So we didn't have a telephone. We didn't really have a television. We had a lot of kind of backroot stuff, but it taught a lot to me as a person about work ethic and character, in regards to challenges, though, as a teenage girl, it wasn't always easy because teenage girls like to talk on the phone, and that wasn't something I was allowed to do, and had to also travel to be with friends and stuff like that. But, I grew up and I moved out of the house. And after I moved out, my mom actually became a realtor. And I worked for her in her back office in the late 90s, early 2000s, after I'd moved away from my city and then came back with my children. So worked with my mom and fell in love with real estate. And that's how I really had a desire to do real estate way back a lot of years ago.
Awesome. Really, that's great to know, Dania. So then you grew up in BC, in British Columbia. How was the weather there? I know people say that it's not as it's winter time is better than Ontario. How was it? Where you lived?
Where I grew up is very different because a lot of people refer to the weather there as coastal, like in the Vancouver area where it's rainy and not as much snow, or in the Okanagan. And although I did live in the Okanagan where there's less snow, where I grew up is really four very distinct seasons there. So we had a lot of snow. We grew up in the mountains. The ski hills around us were Olympic type ski hills where there was Olympic athletes on them. So a lot of snow, a lot of outdoor activities in the winter, the summer. I think that where I lived was one of the sunniest places in Canada because in the wintertime, having colder weather, the skies are also blue as well. So a lot of sunshine, but very the landscape is not like coastal. It's more mountainous.
Awesome, great to know. So great to know that you lived in BC and then came to Ontario, and we are going to follow that path. But tell me then, in BC, in terms of work life and all that, did you work there? And so then what made you decide to come to Ontario?
Yeah, so I was a stay-at-home mom for many years, and then I found myself a single mom and had to go and get a job. And I just wasn't happy just taking any old job. I worked and I did very well with what I did. I actually worked at a call center, learning customer service, and worked my way up very, very quickly. But I didn't want to stop with that, so I went back to college at 36 years old and became a law clerk and worked as a law clerk and stuff. And then I actually met my husband and moved out here to Ontario with my children, where I worked as a law clerk for a bit, and then I went into labor relations after I moved here. So that's the type of work that I did before I became a realtor.
Congratulations, Dania. You know
Thank
what? You
you.
don't settle for one thing and you think you're just like me. That's where we did it. I don't like saying, you're a single mom like me. I don't like saying there we did it because we should, be promoting that. But, being a single mom has also helped you to persevere, to multitask and to do all those things. So I relate with you in many ways in that sense. So then you went to school, college at the age of 36. Awesome, and
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank
Um,
you.
so then how did you then you said you met your husband, you came to Ontario. How did you make a life in Ontario? How was it?
Was very different. I have to say that moving from one province to another can literally feel like you're in a different country because the people do things differently. The government has different processes and just different ways of thinking and living. Sometimes when I moved here, I felt like I was fast forwarded to a whole modern way of doing things. And then another time I felt like it was almost too traditional and archaic. And it was just learning how to blend all of that and missing my family and my friends. It's very challenging, as you know, having moved countries, to leave your whole family and your friends and everything you've ever known to try and make a living. So I found that Ontario is very different to getting a job, but I was very, very fortunate to get a job and to have a great boss and to work my way around and find myself actually working for the government eventually in labor relations. And I loved my job. I have to say, I love the people who work in our government, work very, very hard to make sure that we have what we need, especially in healthcare.
Awesome, Daniel. Thank you so much. So, 36 and going back to college and never giving up. You are really here to speak to all of us to say never give up and never
Never.
settle for one thing. If one thing doesn't work, the other one is going to work. And I think you're speaking to the immigrants in Canada because this is a country of immigrants. People are coming every day to say that even relocating within Canada is an experience. So if we find difficulties now, doesn't mean that we'll stay there forever. We should be able to work and gang up with people and change our lives. And I know you're going to speak to us within this show how you have teamed up with people to make your life in Ontario better. So
Absolutely.
then you decided to move into real estate. Tell
Yeah.
us about that. I think that's exciting.
Well, I loved working for my mom, and when I was the single mom, I wanted to go into real estate, but it's a world that is very up and down with income, and so I knew that it was something I really didn't want to risk giving my kids that roller coaster ride of feast or famine, we might call it. So I held off, and I was working for the government, and we all know the government has a lot of changes, and that comes with stress for their workers. And I decided that I really wanted to have a job that was more in line with my husband, be able to go with him. Sometimes he works out of town, and I wanted to have that freedom should I need to or want to take a trip with him or to be able to take time off with him when I wanted. And I also, labor relations isn't always a happy job. It's negotiations and grievances and disciplines, and it's challenging. And so I wanted a job that had a happy ending. And so I decided that I was going to go back into real estate, and I gave up my pension and my benefits and everything because I really wanted to do this. And I have to tell you, as different as it is and as up and down that we've had, it has been the most amazing experience. And for me personally, the personal growth I have seen in myself is just, I can't even measure it.
Awesome, great. So, Dania, then you moved to a real estate brokerage that operates differently from the traditional brokerages. But tell us why this one is different and when did you move into it?
Yeah. So my brokerage is eXp Brokerage, and we're what we call a cloud-based brokerage. So we are literally one brokerage worldwide. So as of this morning, I got the stats, so I could tell you everything, the right up to date. Today, we are in 24 different countries across the world, and we have more than 88,000 agents across the world. We're the fastest growing agency in the world. And so we literally, because we're one brokerage, I literally only have to pick up my phone right here and message somebody to refer a client somewhere, to find somebody who can help them. And that's the benefit of having that, because we're all one. And the even greater benefit of that is just recently, last summer, eXp Brokerage acquired another brokerage, which was called Zoocasa. And Zoocasa is now part of eXp as a team. And I literally just, I think it was 2.5 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, I joined that team. And it helps me to have another network of people across the country that I can help service my people, as well as find people here locally that still need my help. But the wonderful thing about Zoocasa is, and this is a secret for people who don't know this, is zoocasa.com is a website you can go on, and it's an award-winning portal. You can actually get sold data off of it, which isn't on every platform that realtors have. And so people can go on there and actually discover what home sold for that you were looking at, which is so important when you're doing homework for real estate and starting your journey to purchase or to even sell your home.
So, Dania, then you moved into this brokerage that makes you do things differently, that embraces technology more, that is worldwide in many countries. What are your ideal clients? Do they allow you to attract the same clients that a traditional brokerage would be attracting?
Yeah, so my brokerage actually allows you to be very individual in how you market yourself. We have some compliance issues, obviously, that come through our real estate profession, but we are allowed to go out and market the type of clients that we need. And so I've been able to do everything I dreamed about doing, and that I'm still going and making bigger and bigger every day. But I'm able to reach the type of people I want based on me and not just the name of my brokerage.
Awesome, great. And Danny, I want to ask you a question, and we are not going to say anything negative about the competition. The competition is out there. I understand that even London, Ontario, we have over 2,200 realtors, so we have to be extremely careful so we don't make yourself better than everybody. But I want to ask you is, how do you set yourself apart from the competition? What makes you different?
Yeah, I would say I don't have anything bad to say about those people, because you have to set yourself different, because there are so many great agents in our area. We have a lot of hardworking agents in our area, and standing out amongst 2,000 plus agents can be hard. And so for me, I decided really early on, my broker asked me when I first started to create a business plan that I would stick with to be able to reach the ideal client for me. And so I decided early on, I wanted to be a little different than other people, whereas becoming a neighborhood expert and actually asking people, why do you live in the house that you live in? How long have you lived there? What do you love about your neighborhood? And what are the challenges that you have living there? And that was one piece of it. And as I started to work, I understood that when I had people coming to me who were from out of the area, I related so well, because I had relocated city to city, province to province. I'd done it personally and I had done it corporately. And so it allowed me to have a really, really good understanding of the true questions that people ask. And so I decided I wasn't, as much as I love having a listing and I do listings for people and I do really great at them, I wasn't going to make that my main focus. My main focus was to reach the people who weren't here in London and to be able to tell them about our great city, about the great area in Southwestern Ontario, so that when they come here, they actually know what it looks like, they can get a sense of what it feels like. And so that's why I did the things that I did by reaching them through video.
Wonderful. So, Dania, then I really appreciate that. So then being a relocation advisor, you're advising people who are relocating not only from different provinces, but even from out of the country. As we said, Canada is now focusing on bringing more immigrants. Are you really are you really setting yourself ready for them to be able to advise them, and how do they find you?
Yeah, so in 2021, I actually decided to start a YouTube channel after having a website that I sponsored doing video, but then I decided that was too narrow. I wanted to focus bigger. So I started a YouTube channel where I could reach unlimited people. And so I began to showcase London, the community here, do map tours, show people what London is really like, as well as the communities around it. And so I reach people because they're searching on YouTube. They're looking for where's a great place to live. They don't know what it's like here. They want to come to Canada. A lot of them are coming here to pursue education and then further their residency here in Canada. And so they want to know what it's like. And so when they search London, Ontario on YouTube, they're actually going to find me there. And from there, they can contact me right there. They can book a video call. They can call me. They can email me. They often check out my social media, and then they go to those platforms and connect with me. So there's so many ways people can find me.
Awesome. And that's really great. I wanted to ask you then, because you call yourself a relocation advisor, I know you're a real estate agent, that is the license,
Yeah.
but you went ahead to acquire, did you acquire more certification and credentials and further licensing or training to be able to advise people? Tell us a little bit more about your extra qualifications.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, especially when you're talking to corporations and large companies who want to have support for their managers and their executives who are moving, they want to know that people not only have some experience, but they have some training behind them to handle those type of transactions. And so for me, my brokerage actually has an award-winning program for relocating, and I went ahead and I took that program so that I could be as well equipped as possible to handle every type of a relocation, whether it's you moving from another country to come here to go to school and lease a home, whether it's you being transferred from your company and you need to purchase a home in an area that has good resale, say, because you know you're only going to be here 5 years, or to have an executive lease. And what does that look like? And what are the questions that they might have and how urgent their timelines are? And so I think that's the bigger part is knowing that. So I went ahead and got certified, and that just really solidified in me that I did know and I did understand that whole entire process.
Wonderful, Dania. You are very confident. You're actually very confident in what you're saying, and I like that. So, here's my question for you. Doing real estate, as far as I know, is you're only one piece of the puzzle, right? You do some work, and then the mortgage agent has to do some work, the real estate lawyer, the home inspector. There are so many people involved to make this transaction successful. So tell me about the book of professionals, as you call it, the book of professionals that you have put together to help you serve your clients.
Yeah. Well, you can imagine if you've never stepped foot in London and you don't know anybody here, and I'm generally could be the first person they know and the first face they see, is they need to know where to go to find things. And so I built a book of professionals, but not just a book. I built the relationships with the people for people who need home insurance and they don't have a track record of insurance. They want to know they're not getting charged exorbitant amounts of money for insurance. They want to know they're getting the best deal possible and getting treated the same way as anybody else. So people like insurance brokers and people like, even they ask me, who's your chiropractor and other things like that. So I'm able to tell them about different businesses, professionals, people that can help them in their home, painters and renovators and landscapers and lawyers. A lot of times people coming here need help with their immigration stuff because things can happen. And so knowing and building a relationship with people like that helps me to take some stressors off them. So my relationship goes far beyond just finding them a home. We're in contact all the time and they invite me to their home and I get to visit them. It's just all about relationship with your own clients and with the community that you live in.
I totally appreciate that, Dania. I totally understand that because you need movers, right? Your homeowners need somebody to move them. They need someone to help them to organize or to stage their home. They need someone to paint the home and do touch-ups. Like, you can actually network with so many people because of just serving the client that you're serving. It's a great place to be. So let
Yes.
me ask you then, based on all that, your great experience and your passion in real estate, your passion in helping people who are relocating, what are your future plans professionally?
Oh boy, that's a big one. Professionally, I have a lot of plans going forward to grow what I do now and make it more vibrant and bigger to be able to help people. When you have more and more people coming to you, you need to have more people that can help them. So my brokerage actually allows me to bring in people that I can work with and create my own little team within a team. And I love that because it's going to help me grow bigger. But I actually have a lot of more plans that are going forward that's going to help people in our community that are looking at downsizing, but want to be a snowbird as well. So that also incorporates a little bit of relocation, because if you're selling your home here, buying something smaller, and you want to relocate to somewhere that's where snowbirds go, you need somebody on the other end. And I'm working on a whole platform of that. I can't talk too much about it because we haven't really executed a whole lot yet, but I'm really excited because this will be able to relieve a lot of stress off people who have spent their whole life waiting to get to retirement. So I'm really excited about that. That's kind of where my next things are going in the short term.
Wonderful. That's very exciting. And you don't want to tell us which country or where the snowbirds will be going? Or
Well, I mean, we're
not
going to
yet?
start first with the US, and there's three major places that people love to go and be snowbirds. And one is in Florida, and the other one is in Arizona, and the other one's down in California. And so we're going to target those spaces first. And I have great agents that I love and trust in those areas that we are working on a plan to be able to have people who can just seamlessly just be wrapping up something here and able to find something and know that they have somebody working on their behalf in another place who knows that place and is not all about a transaction, but is about building a relationship with them.
Wonderful. It's great for people to know that actually, if they want to relocate to become snowbirds, they are retiring, they are downsizing, you have a one-stop shop for them, resources for them. Thank you so much for doing that, Dania. I know it has taken you a lot to work and put all that together. So
Yeah.
here is my question then, because we don't want to leave you personally. What plans do you have for your personal plans? What you said was professional, but how about personally?
Yeah. So my husband and I have spent the last few years working really hard. My husband works in an industry where he works a lot in the summertime, and he's very busy in his job. He's a manager, like a quality manager in his company. And so we don't spend a lot of time playing. And so we've really intended and put intentions in place to play more this year. And so we're taking time weekly to do that, to do some more kayaking. We love kayaking. We love gardening. We have an outrageous yard that we have created an oasis because we don't get to go away in the summer as much. And we have a lot of grandkids because we have a blended family. We have 6 kids and we have 9 grandchildren. So we are planning some trips with some of our grandchildren to go to, there's a Jurassic exhibition down in Mississauga. We're going to go there. We're going to try and take some to African lion safari. Those are some of the things we're going to do in the meantime, as well as maybe get some trips out of the country. So that's our short term.
Awesome, Dania. That's very exciting. That's very exciting. So let me ask you then. I wanted to know about real estate. Your long-term goals for your real estate. I know the real estate industry changes a lot. Sometimes it's ups and down. Sometimes we hear it's hot market and all that. So have you positioned yourself to really expect that hotness and cold market or whatever it is? What are your future long-term goal for real estate?
Big. I have really big plans, and they come from a place of experience. And I think having had my human resources background and coming through real estate, I see a real gap. And so I have big plans in helping to merge some of that, because we see a lot of people, the statistics say that agents who come into the industry are gone within 2 to 5 years. And that's just sad. It's just really sad that people would spend all that much time getting to know an industry and working so hard to feel like a failure. And I don't want to see that. So I'm working on some plans and some things that will help bridge the gap, that will help to bring supports to brokers, to team leaders, and to agents alike, to help marry some of that process and create a culture that is more cohesive for them, instead of that having to climb the ladder and fight for everything that you have, but becoming more of a team. And I think that that's something that our industry is lacking, and I think our public sees that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dania. I have seen that myself, as you say. I have seen situations where a real estate agent joins the entrepreneur nation, and the other one thinks that one is his competitor, and he leaves. And I'm very surprised because we are not even putting them in the same chapter, right? There's even one I am to convince and say, if you're driving on Dufferin Street and another one is driving on Queen Street, why are you worried about the one on Dufferin Street? Right? Because it's different chapters. So I've seen that, or people who view us as competitors, and that seriousness. And I hope that what you're saying can bring more relationships, so that as the public don't have to see that. So
well,
thank
we
you.
all are attracted to our own kind of, our people are attracted to us for being us. And so even when you are in the same room and one's representing a seller, one's representing a buyer, there's still no reason to feel like you're in competition with each other, because your goal's the same, and that's to help people get housing. And so that's where I come from.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So then with that said, I wanted to ask you, because you are coming to an end, you have been a member of the Entrepreneur Nation for this is your second year, and I appreciate you for that, Dania. I want everyone to know how I reached out to you on LinkedIn at 10 a.m. and I said, Dania, I have a lunch meeting for business professionals. Would you like to come at 11:30? I gave you 1.5 hours, and fortunately, you didn't have clients lining up for you that specific hour, and you agreed to come out. And you looked at our group and you made a decision the same day to join. What a wonderful person. Because I believe that the more you make quick and the right decisions, the better for your clients as well. Clients don't want somebody who is going to to delay and wait forever when there's something they have to see. So thank you so much for doing that. How has it been for you?
It's something I look forward to every month. I have it blocked in my calendar, locked and loaded, ready to go, because I know that every time I go, maybe there's somebody new joining my chapter, or maybe at the after fives that we have, I'm going to meet people that I don't have in my chapter. And I know that they are vetted professionals who can step in when my clients need help. And I can give a quick example of that, if you don't mind, is we didn't have in my group, in our chapter that we had in West London, was we didn't have an insurance broker at that moment. And I had clients moving and they needed insurance in one day from moving here. They were from out of the country and I just needed help for them. And I had met the day before at the after five an insurance agent, and I reached out to him, and in less than 24 hours, he had insurance for them at almost the same price that anyone else would pay. And that's the kind of level of professionals that we have there that you can rely on. I've had photographers doing my photography work for my homes. I've had lawyers helping me, immigration people. It's just, if you want to have sound people to fall back on, why not surround yourself with people who are professional and who are willing and have the same mindset as you out there to help other people?
Awesome. Really great. I really appreciate that. That is true, Dania, that we want to relate with the right people and we want to work with the right people. You have been a great person to know. And I know our members will continue to work with you in an awesome way. So do you have any other final comments for our viewers as we come to an end?
I just want to say I love being a part of the community here in London and Southwestern Ontario, and I'm really happy to build relationships with people. And even if you are not purchasing, buying, or leasing a home today, you might in the future, and knowing somebody that you can come to down the road is always great. So do not hesitate to reach out and ask me questions, because I'm always willing and able to answer them for you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. We're happy to have you. Our viewers, thank you so much for watching.